I saw an article in the Ledger this morning about the Lieutenant Governor Bryant's plans. I think he wanted to have two maps. Did you see that article? Or
I haven't seen the article yet. I've heard about it,
okay.
and I do know that he wants to at least provide options. What I know for sure, because he told me this yesterday, is that he doesn't want to do what the House did in putting a plan out there and expecting people to be able to intelligently vote on it the next day. He wants to put a plan or two. I'd even heard that he might have 3 plans that people could look at and really decide for themselves whether that plan is best for the state, rather than trying to ram something through like the House did.
Now, the House, do they usually just come up with one plan, or do they also have options?
My understanding from the people I've talked to, and also from being here for 2 of the redistricting sessions, is that the redistricting committee generally will come up with one plan and they present it. I don't know that it's ever been that it was presented one day and voted on the next. But I think it's fairly unusual to have multiple options that are actually presented as being official options. Of course, in the process, where there are probably 1,000 different maps that have been drawn, but for a public official to put out more than one is unusual.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What? But overall, how has redistricting gone in your mind at this time around? I mean, how is it? You know.
I think the worst thing is that the House leadership put out their plan and asked people to vote on it almost instantly. And they had talked to individual legislators and a lot of legislators were very comfortable with their districts. But then when they saw the overall plan, they said this really is not fair to everybody. And so I think it's unfortunate that it was not given more opportunity to be looked at and debated. You know, there are some municipalities that are not happy with it because it splits their communities. There's a lot of split precincts, which really is just unnecessary. And so the whole process seems to have been driven solely by a desire to protect the people who are already in office, and not by a desire to make sure that the people who are to be represented will be fairly represented.
And that's nothing new, of course. But what would you advise legislators, you know, as they're going through this process? Any advice that you would give them? Not any names, but just in general, any advice?
Try to have no split precincts. I would say have no split precincts. There may be an occasional place where that is necessary, but I don't think that should ever be necessary. Where possible, keep counties, certainly cities, intact. If they have more population than necessary, then as few will, then obviously it's necessary to split the city, but it ought to be done in a logical format. So that's really the way it ought to be done. And you're right, that protecting the incumbents is not unusual, or protecting drawing the districts that will make it more likely that one party or the other wins a particular district. That's normal. That doesn't mean it's right.